Good afternoon. Today I will be talking to you about exercise, or I prefer to call it as physical activity. I will be sharing with you the benefits of exercise as well as the practical tips that one can do to have an active life, both at work and at home. We will also be seeing the correlation between depression and anxiety and exercise. And also what we can do is to see whether we could apply a little bit while we're doing this presentation. I'd like to introduce you to this gentleman. His name is Sir Edward Henry Stanley. He's the 15th Earl of Derby, and he was a British statesman. He was the Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs twice in the 1800s, and his outstanding credibility is admirable that while he was doing his very important role, he became well known for this quote: "Those who cannot find time for exercise will have to find time for illness." He also advocated that if we are to fulfill our responsibilities in whatever roles we possess, we need to be fit, we need to be healthy. And I believe that that is through exercise. Here are the benefits of exercise. Exercise increases airflow in the nose and lungs. It also increases the circulation, nourishing the nerves and body tissues. It lowers blood pressure and cholesterol. It improves muscle tone, and those weak muscles, they are made strong and firm. It also burns your unwanted fat, so it makes you look and feel better. Exercise controls the appetite, and of course, it loosens those stiff joints. Now, talking about stiff joints, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Ellsworth Wareham. And at 104 years old, he was a well-celebrated surgeon. He still mows his lawn and trims his bushes. And the research has proven that people who believe they have more control over their lives tend to be healthier and live longer. On average, physically active people outlive inactive people, even if they start exercising late in life. I'd like to acknowledge Sibylla Johnson for making me use this slide. Regular exercise is as important as a good eating program. For a successful health promotion and disease prevention, a regular exercise program coupled with balanced, healthy eating must always be maintained. Unfortunately, the only exercise that some people get is hopping off the bed, jumping to conclusions, running people down, or passing the buck. So what we can do, just like what Hippocrates said, if we could live actively, it will be helpful and beneficial for us. So, how do we start? Find your interest, of course. If you are stumped, begin by walking, preferably in a clean, open air. Some start at 30 minutes a day, 5 times a week. So as a matter of fact now, if I could ask you to stand and just do some stretches, because it says here too that stretching before and after prevents injury and enhances flexibility. Thank you. Thank you for standing and stretching. So hopefully we will have flexibility, and now you know. Okay, so we have seen the physical benefits of exercise. How and what about the mental benefits? Have you noticed that psychologically you feel your mood improves after going for a walk? Self-esteem increases for those who exercise. Physical activity not only prevents depression, but also is a good therapy for those who are diagnosed with depression. One of the lifestyle hits of depression is absence of regular physical activity. And according to Dr. Nell Nedley, one needs a minimum of 30 minutes of brisk treadmill walking per day, and that is for 10 days, to begin to show a positive mental health response. And in 16 weeks of aerobic fitness training, the antidepressant response is equivalent, that Zoloft is equivalent to that, what you have done during the week with far less relapse. In order to see improvement in most depressed individuals, it is worthwhile to encourage them that it takes at least a week of daily exercise before depressive symptoms begin to improve. But in contrast with anxiety, anxiety can actually be reduced the first time you go out to exercise. There is no doubt that aerobic exercise training is anxiety relieving in healthy volunteers. So I'd like to introduce you to some of the current evidence-based studies. This is taking long walks. Yes, taking long brisk walks is beneficial in reducing depression and anxiety. Long walks indeed are good. There's another research that took 120,000 adults and studied them for 14 years. They've noticed obvious untimely death for those who did not exercise and those who sat for longer times. Women died. There were more women that died than men. For those who did regular exercise but remained sedentary during the day for extended period, there was a significantly higher rate death, as much as 40% increase in women and 20% in men. It's a staggering result, but we need to be aware of that. The second research, another research, they took and identified the risk factors as smoking, high blood pressure, obesity, and even those who are physically active has greater than before chance of dying from all causes and 125% likelihood of suffering from heart attack or stroke. But when they found out and observed that there were 4 hours use per day of computers for games, for social media, and screen-based entertainment, they have a bad result. Now, heart disease is cut in half. The risk of heart disease is cut in half when Dr. James Ripps studied this, especially for those that are active. On the flip side, for those physically inactive, they actually have chosen the same level of increased risk as smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. So how can we avoid being a couch potato? Here are some practical tips that are adapted from the National Heart Foundation. So when traveling, what excuses do we come up with? No time, too old, too lazy. If you do not know when and how to get started, here is PUP for you, P-U-P. The first P is park. One can be creative as this gentleman here, but seriously, experts say that parking away from your destination and walking the rest of the way has positive effects. Now U is for using public transport. That's using the train at the Lilydale station. Here's the bus to go to Marysville, or the tram in the city. And also offering your seat to someone who needs it. Now, one thing to understand about using public transport and adding that incidental activity is to get off or hop off one station or one bus stop before your destination and walk the rest of the way. Imagine that renewed energy you get from being active. Research has shown that the total amount of activity is more important than the type of intensity of the activity. Now, the second P is plan when traveling. Plan regular breaks during long car trips, especially when you go with your family. So, gone are the days when we always walk to go from A to B. At work, up to 8 hours or more may cause future health issues. How about practical tips at home? It says standing and moving at home. If you want to stand now, you can also stand. Now, we'll look at this gentleman, and he was standing while reading the newspaper. The wife will be standing while answering the phone, doing kitchen work as well. And for men who likes ironing, they can iron the clothes while standing. I know that some people would travel 2 hours to work and 2 hours back home. With modernization, we are forced to spend daily large chunks of inactivity. So what do we do at work? We have to move and stand. As you can see, we have that gentleman actually stood and shook the guest or a visitor. As you can see, both of the meetings, most of them are standing, meaning no prolonged sitting. And this lady, she has to stay away from her computer desk every 30 minutes. Look at the beautiful smile picking up the printed sheet from a printer in a different room. This lady in the office was standing while answering the phone. And also, be proactive by standing as well when you use this desk so that you can do standing and work at the same time. I like this one last. If you work in a second-story building, do like Belle, climb the stairs. Now here are the top 5 basic aerobic activity. The first one is cross-country skiing. The second is swimming. The third is running or jogging. The fourth is outdoor cycling with the family. And the fifth is walking with the family. I like my author, or my favorite author, that said, there is no exercise that can take place of walking, as it improves the circulation of the blood and involves all the major organs of the body. Thomas Jefferson also said that walking is the best of all exercise. It has a low risk of injury. You don't need special training, nor special clothing, nor special equipment, and convenience tops it up. As a family, how can we all be active? One of the best things for a healthy family is to do together and participate in more physical activities. Activities shared together displays growth both in terms of relationships and improved health. That's from Creation Health. I like this from Kenneth Cooper, a journey. Fitness is a journey, not a destination. You must continue for the rest of your life. Activity includes physical and mental conditioning. Our goal is to be active in mind, body, and spirit. As my last slide, let's start walking for yourself and for those you love. Lifestyle changes can begin today. It should be a part of our lives. And so, perhaps as a take-home message, let's perhaps just stand up again and do a bit more of stretches, and perhaps shake the hands of the person beside you, and you know, perhaps start walking on the spot, and let's just hope that out of those studies and the practical tips from the National Heart Foundation, that we can start and begin a lifestyle that's healthy. Walk and smile, smile and walk. Thank you.